Okay, so how many times have you thought, I wish there was like a roadmap for feeling amazing,
Okay.
especially after 50?
I know what you do.
Today, we're going to take a deep dive into this book that says it's got the secret transforming your health after 50, the power of simple daily habits. And guess what it's all about? Creating this health pyramid with like everyday things you can do.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked at the difference a couple of little changes can make.
Really, it's true. This book isn't about like crazy big changes.
Right.
It's more about the power of doing small things, but consistently. And get this, 70% of seniors who start doing just one new thing every day, they see big improvements in their health like within a month.
Wow, just one habit. That's amazing. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I'm hooked. So how do we even start building this health pyramid?
Well, the most important part of this pyramid is something we all know is super crucial, but often have trouble with sleep.
Oh, sleep.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. It's like once you reach a certain age, everyone starts comparing their sleep problems like battle scars. But why is it so important for us older folks?
Well, think of it this way. Routine in general gives us stability, and as we get older, that stability becomes even more important.
Okay.
A study from the University of Pittsburgh showed that for seniors, having a regular schedule actually means better sleep, they're in a better mood, and even think more clearly.
Wow.
It's like routine is a support system for all these important functions.
So it's not just about feeling organized. It's like routine is protecting our brains as we age.
Exactly. And when it comes to routine, sleep is the king.
Okay.
The book stresses how good sleep helps everything else fall into place.
But how do we actually sleep better? I feel like I've tried every trick in the book.
Well, the guide suggests starting with your environment,
Okay.
like dimming the lights an hour before bed, make your room cool and dark, maybe even try an eye mask. It's all about signaling to your body that it's time to wind down.
It's like making your bedroom a little sleep sanctuary. I can see that working. And then there's a classic advice about going to bed and waking up at the same time every day.
Exactly, because that consistency reinforces your natural sleep-wake cycle. And when you get good sleep, you're setting yourself up for success with everything else.
So once we've built this solid sleep foundation, what comes next?
Level 2 of the health pyramid is all about something a lot of people dread: moving.
I think many of us think that if we weren't hitting the gym in our 20s, it's too late.
Yeah.
But this book has a different take, right?
It totally does. It stresses that it's never too late to benefit from exercise.
Oh, good.
And the good news is we're not talking about training for a marathon or anything. The book suggests starting with just 10 to 15 minutes of simple activities, like walking, swimming, or even gentle yoga.
Okay, that sounds way less intimidating. I could definitely do 15 minutes a day.
That's the spirit. The idea is to make it a habit, something you can stick with, not to overwhelm yourself. And as you get more comfortable, you can slowly do more or make it more challenging.
So we've got sleep as our base, and now we're adding movement. What's the next building block in this health pyramid?
The third level focuses on keeping our minds sharp mental exercises. They're just as important as physical activity, especially when it comes to preventing cognitive decline.
I used to think brain games were just for grandmas.
Uh-huh.
But the book really stresses how they can help everyone, especially as we get older.
It's true. And it's not just about preventing dementia, although the book mentions a study showing that mental exercises can reduce that risk by almost half. It's also about feeling sharper, more focused, and being able to learn new things.
So what kind of mental exercises are we talking about?
Anything that challenges your brain and keeps you engaged. Think crosswords, memory games, learning a new language, or even picking up a new hobby, like playing a musical instrument.
It sounds like the key is to keep our brains active and challenged, just like we do with our bodies.
Exactly. You use it or you lose it. But in this case, it's less about losing physical strength and more about keeping your brain power.
Okay, so far we've got a good base for our pyramid sleep movement and mental exercises. I'm seeing a pattern here. It's all about taking care of our minds and bodies.
You're definitely picking up on the key theme. And speaking of taking care of our bodies, the fourth level of the health pyramid focuses on what we eat, nutrition.
Now, this is where I think a lot of people get scared.
Yeah.
They imagine boring salads and strict diets. Is that what the book suggests?
Not at all.
Hmm.
This guide is all about a simple, common sense approach. It encourages adding more fresh fruits and vegetables, high fiber foods, and those essential omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay, that sounds doable. So it's not about depriving yourself. It's more about choosing wisely and adding the good stuff.
Exactly. And to make it even easier, the guide offers some meal prep tips.
Okay.
Like you could prepare your salads and healthy dressings at the beginning of the week so you always have nutritious options ready to go.
That's a great time-saving tip. So we're not talking about a complete diet makeover, just adding these healthy things into our routines.
Right, and small changes can make a big difference over time. Remember those omega-3s we talked about? The guide specifically mentions DHA and EPA, which you find in fatty fish like salmon. These types of fats are super important for brain health, especially as we get older.
Good to know. Salmon's definitely going on my shopping list this week. So we've covered sleep, movement, mental exercises, and now nutrition. What's the final piece of this health pyramid?
The fifth level focuses on something we all need but often take for granted: social connections.
I think we all know that relationships are important, but this guide really emphasizes it.
Yeah,
It compares being lonely to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
I know, right? It's a powerful comparison. It shows just how bad social isolation can be for our health. And it's a growing problem, especially for seniors.
So what can we do to fight loneliness and build those important social connections?
The guide has lots of ideas. You could join community activities, volunteer, take a class, or even use technology to stay connected with loved ones. It doesn't have to be about making tons of new friends. It's about nurturing the connections you already have and finding ways to be part of your community.
That makes sense. And it goes back to the idea that as we get older, routine and connection become even more important for our well-being.
Exactly. Having strong social ties has been shown to boost mood, improve mental health, and even strengthen your immune system. It's a win-win all around.
Okay, we've covered a lot: sleep, movement, mental exercises, nutrition, and now social connections. I feel like we're building this health pyramid brick by brick.
We are, and there's one last piece at the very top of this pyramid: mindfulness. But before we jump into that, let's recap what we've learned so far. What stands out to you the most?
You know what strikes me is how connected all these habits are. It's not just about doing one thing, right? It's about a whole approach to well-being. And the fact that small changes can make such a big difference is really encouraging.
I totally agree. It's about taking those small steps consistently and building momentum over time. But now let's explore that final piece of the puzzle: mindfulness. We'll be back in a moment to dive into how this practice can actually boost the benefits of all the other habits we've talked about. Welcome back to our deep dive into transforming your health after 50.
We've been exploring the power of simple daily habits using the health pyramid from the guide, Transforming Your Health After 50, The Power of Simple Daily Habits.
Yeah, we've laid the groundwork talking about sleep, movement, mental exercises, nutrition, and even how important social connections are.
Right. It's amazing how much those little things can affect our well-being.
It's true. These basic habits really set us up for a healthier and more fulfilling life, especially as we age. But now let's get to the top of our health pyramid: mindfulness. And I have to admit something. I used to think mindfulness was just for yoga people and meditation gurus.
I know what you mean.
But this book really showed me how practical and powerful it can be.
Me too. I always thought mindfulness was something you did sitting on a mountaintop.
Right.
But it turns out we can actually use it in our everyday lives pretty easily.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that mindfulness isn't about emptying your mind or trying to be blissful. It's about being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and sensations in the present moment without judging them.
So it's more about observing than changing.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's about noticing what's going on inside you and around you without getting carried away by it.
Okay, I'm starting to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we actually practice mindfulness in a practical way?
Mm.
The guide gives us some specific techniques, right?
It does, and they're easier than you might think. One of the simplest is deep breathing. You can do it anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
Just get comfortable, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Notice how your chest rises and falls and how the air flows in and out of your
It
nose.
sounds super easy and doable. Where I can see myself doing this in line at the store or even during commercials.
Exactly. Those are perfect times. And the great thing about deep breathing is that it calms your nerves, reduces stress, and brings you back to the present.
It's like a mini vacation for your mind.
Precisely. Another technique the guide talks about is body scanning. This is where you focus on different parts of your body from your toes up. Notice any sensations like warmth, tingling, pressure, but don't judge them.
Yeah, so it's like a mental check-in with your body.
Exactly. It helps you become more aware of and connected to your body, which can be really grounding and calming.
The guide also mentions things like gentle yoga or Tai Chi as forms of mindfulness.
It does. Those practices combine movement with focused attention, making them great ways to practice mindfulness while improving flexibility and balance.
So there are lots of ways to be mindful. It's about finding what works for you.
Absolutely. And the research on mindfulness is really impressive. Studies have shown that practicing it regularly can improve memory, reduce anxiety, and help us manage our emotions better.
So it's not just about relaxing. It's about training our minds to be more focused, stronger, and more adaptable.
That's a great way to put it. It's about developing inner peace and clarity that can help us deal with life's challenges more easily.
Okay, so we've covered all 6 levels of the health pyramid: sleep, movement, mental exercises, nutrition, social connections, and mindfulness. I feel inspired, but also a little overwhelmed. How do we actually put all this into practice without it being too much?
That's a great question, and the guide gives us some practical steps to help us make these habits part of our lives. It starts with being realistic. Don't try to change everything overnight. Instead, choose one habit from each level of the pyramid to focus on it first.
That seems much more manageable. Pick one thing from each category and start there.
Exactly. And remember the idea of habit stacking. Combine a new habit with an existing one to make it easier to remember and make it part of your routine.
For example, if you already drink coffee every morning, you could do a few minutes of stretching while your coffee is brewing.
Perfect example. It's all about finding those little opportunities throughout your day to fit in healthy habits.
And the guide stresses that it's all about gradual progress. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent and building momentum over time.
Absolutely. Celebrate those small wins and be patient with yourself. It takes time and effort to build new habits, but it's so worth it.
I like that perspective. It's encouraging to know that we don't have to be perfect. We just have to keep moving forward.
Exactly. And remember, you can start anytime. It's never too late to improve your health. You can transform your health at any age.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening. I feel motivated to take charge of my well-being and start putting some of these simple but powerful habits into practice.
It's amazing to see how much we can control our own health as we get older. These habits aren't just about living longer, they're about making those years better.
And remember, you're not alone. Share your journey with friends, family, or even in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and how you're doing.
We'll be right back after a short break to finish up our deep dive into transforming your health after 50.
We're back, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired after going through all this advice from Transforming Your Health After 50. It's amazing how a few simple habits can really change how we feel.
What's interesting to me is how this guide doesn't just give us a list of healthy habits, it gives us a framework, that health pyramid, to help us see how these habits work together to keep our minds and bodies healthy.
Right, it's like building a solid base with sleep and movement, then adding those layers of mental exercises, nutrition, and social connection. And at the top, we've got mindfulness, making all the other stuff even better.
Exactly. And what's really encouraging is how it emphasizes making progress slowly. It's not about being perfect. It's about taking small steps consistently and creating those healthy habits over time.
That's such a relief. I think a lot of people give up because they try to change everything at once and just get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
But this way seems much more doable.
it is. And it's never too late to start. You can improve your health at any age. Think about that stat we talked about earlier. 70% of seniors who add just one new daily habit see those positive changes.
Yeah.
It's about those small victories adding up.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about and even more to actually do. I'm already thinking of ways to add some of these habits into my day.
That's great. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Talk to your friends and family, or even share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your progress and what you're finding helpful from this episode.
So to wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a little challenge. What one habit from the health pyramid are you going to commit to this week?
It could be something simple, like setting a regular bedtime, going for a 15-minute walk every day, adding more veggies to your dinner, or even just taking 5 minutes to do some deep breathing.
Remember, little changes make a big difference. Your journey to a healthier, more vibrant life starts now. And if you found this deep dive helpful, be sure to subscribe and tell a friend. Until next time, happy habit building.